Okay. Say I'm going to do a tonsao, or a punch, or a fuksao. I'm going forward with my hand. It seems intuitive that I'm going to turn it this way, right? To move the hand out, right? But what if I turn it the other way?
Oh, you said, okay.
What happens then?
It rotates to accomplish that motion, but it's still.
Well, it doesn't rotate this way. It can.
It doesn't have to go, okay.
Look.
Yeah.
You turn it this way on that plane, and it does that.
Yeah.
But what if you turn it that way? What happens to the arm? Why does it go over here?
I guess, okay, I'm letting that, so never mind, it's all in my
It's
hand.
turning this way.
I got you. Yeah.
So it's kind of going to go like that
Right.
instead of like that, right?
Yeah.
So is that wrong? Well, I guess it's not tonsao. But then you could say, okay, then if it turns this way, is that my fuksao?
Right.
But then you do the same turning for your fuksao. No, wait a minute, that's my fuksao. So my answer is this. Anytime the hand's going forward, it's turning this way.
Right.
Anytime the hand's coming back, now this is the question we're talking about, right?
Right.
Which way is it turning? I think it's turning this way. Does that make sense to you
Yeah.
guys? I mean, try it.
Right.
Put your hand out. Now you want to bring your hand back. Which
That's
way
it.
is this turning?
You swap directions, perfect. Yeah.
This way? Or does it continue around? Bear with me now. Just bear with me. It comes out. It's turning like this. Okay, you with me? Everybody?
Mm-hmm.
But how far is it turning? Only to here, right?
Right.
Now I come back. Maybe it keeps turning and it comes up around this way, and that's what brings my hand back.
I picture a railroad
Which
car.
means it's going the other way. After it gets toward the top, it's going the other way.
Right.
So basically, it's just going around. Yeah, go ahead.
I saw a cam like on a railroad car.
Yeah. Oh, this
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
part of the car that moves the line to move the wheels.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, let's take that example. So, when that part of the, how the mechanism of the railroad works is, it turns and it pushes that thing forward that then turns the wheel. Okay, what if you wanted to go the other way? What if you want to reverse the train? Which way does that hub turn to reverse? The opposite way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think it does.
So I guess that's what, if you want to think about it, that's what you're doing here. But I would suggest, and it's, you know, it's, who am I to tell anybody what they should think about? It's not my business. But why bother thinking about it at all? If you just let, if basically you just let your joints turn
Yeah.
in place, they're going to turn any way they need to accomplish your intent to go over here, to go over here.
Yeah, I think the whole gear thing is just adding too much to it. I mean, it's a ball and socket joint. It's just going to float around in that socket. You know, whichever way within
It's
the
gonna
limits,
turn.
within the limits,
It's going to turn.
Well, yeah, it
Yeah.
turns. It turns
So
forward,
we're
and backwards.
talking,
You know,
but we're talking about turning.
Yeah.
If you don't like the gear analogy, that's perfectly fine, of course.
yeah.
Some people might like it, some not. You might have a better analogy or no analogy. At the end of the day, it's about how are you moving? Are you just letting the action of the joint do the work, which is what you want in combination with the center spinning, so that your body weight is involved in this, okay? Or are you engaging muscle to use strength to push in a direction? That's all it boils down to. You know, it doesn't really matter what concept you have to think about what's happening.
Yeah.
And you're right, what's really happening is the action of inside this joint in the context of how we're using the shoulder, okay? So that's true.
Yeah. Because all you're really doing is moving your humerus.
That's right.
That's it. Oh,
That's
done.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Freedom to move. Just
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. In fact, you know, instead, you know how they talk about elbow power all the time in Wing Chun, right? Push the elbow, push the elbow. I prefer what you just said. Think of, I'm just gonna move my humerus bone. So I'm moving my humerus bone. I'm moving my humerus bone. I'm moving my humerus bone. But at the end of the day, I don't have to think about anything. This is a training idea to get you to move right without using a lot of muscle, okay? Whether it's elbow power, whether it's humerus, it's going to amount to the same thing if it's training up the proper way of moving, okay? Just what boat you're using to get across the river. It doesn't make any difference. And once you get across, which means once you know how to move properly, then you don't need the boat anymore. You don't need the idea. You don't need to think about gears spinning. You don't need to think about the humerus bone. You don't need to think about anything because this is just how you move. The only reason that all those things might be helpful is because we're trying to train out of the other way we're doing things. So it can be helpful to use visualization or idea or imagery to replace what it is we're doing that we want to transcend, okay?
Right. Exactly what you said. You used to use that thought process, and now you're using this process. That may work. It may be the same thing, but you conceptualize it differently now, and it's more effective for you. Awesome.
Yeah, I told you. I would show up at C from Mars every day with a new idea. Oh, this is my idea. And I walk into school, and they look at me and smile and go, do you have an idea today, John? And I go, yeah. And I think what the idea was. Let's say humorous or you know, whatever it might be, I don't care. And I go, okay, he put his hand out, then let's feel it. And I would touch him and start to move, and he'd go, that's a press, okay? And I go, fuck. And then he would just look at me and say, he would do what I did and let me feel what that was like, and then he'd do it the correct way, and I'd feel the difference like that. And then he'd, you know, you need to do this, and I would do it. And then it would be right, and he'd go, yeah, that's it. And I'd go, okay, okay. And after years of that, I'm not exaggerating, I get to the point where I'd go in and the same thing would happen. And then I would look at him and go, you know what? I'd just be a lot better off if I shut the fuck up and did what you told me to do. And I'm right. I would have been better off than trying to interject my understanding, my ideas, all of that stuff. Because his teaching never changed.
Right.
I trained with him for like 15 years. His teaching never changed, ever. Pretty much the same way of talking about things. Some evolution, but not major. You know, the first thing he ever told me all those years ago was stand up straight, settle down, and I should remember. Stand up straight. Oh yeah. Settle down and expand in all directions. How can I forget, right? That's what he told me. That's what I'm telling you, isn't it?
Yep.
It's just in the context of stance, release, and pump. Same thing. Okay?
Right.
And that's what he tells everybody to do. And then he helps them. His teaching, by and large, consists of helping people release better. And that's what Chu Shan Tin did with people. So most people hold tension in their shoulders. So, Patrick. So what happens is, you see them teaching, whether it's Ma or whether it's Chu Shan Tin, and you know, they come over and you know, you're doing the Say Sunam Tao and he's watching you and do a Tan Sao. And he'd come over and feel you and he'd go, okay. Feng Song means relax. Okay, and he'd touch you. You gotta release this. Okay? Like, you know, Feng Song, Feng Song, Feng Song. That's what we were doing today. And people, you know, get it with varying degrees. Okay? But I've seen people, believe me, that have trained with him for like 10 years. And he's still doing this with them. Because they're not doing it well enough. Or they're doing it well enough, but tomorrow maybe not so much. Okay? And so, because maybe, this is just my speculation, they're using their forebrain, their analytical mind, to figure out what they're supposed to be doing and make it right. So every time they come in, that's their process. And as soon as their mind goes here to figure it out, it's going to have some tension. subconsciously to have something to feel, to evaluate. That's why they're not getting it. Hence my idea, if you're already perfect, it's released by itself, naturally as a consequence. So you don't have to figure out, is it right, is it wrong? But for years, you see this. Oh, they're always this, always this, always this. And then, okay, he'll rest your hand on his shoulder. Okay? And he'll go, okay, focus on, relax. And he'll wait for you to relax and relax, like we're doing today. And then he'll go, okay, now move your hand. Yeah. You go, yeah, that's it. Because you're already settled. Relax, release. Okay? And then, you're supposed to practice that.
Mm-hmm.
And now you practice it in every motion of the form, whatever form you're doing. And that's his process of teaching. Okay? Now my friend Marty says, and he's got a point, but then so does, thank you, anybody else, right? Marty says, everybody in his school, if you look at him, and if you watch any of these videos, you're going to see this clearly. He's working with every student, and anyone he's working with, that's his process. He's working with them, he's touching their arm, he's touching their shoulder, he's injecting chi, or using his fingers to help them release the muscle tension, whatever the hell he's doing, okay? And everybody sees this, of course, so they're all standing around going like this to themselves. All the time. They come in there and they go. You can see it all the time. My friend Marty goes, they're looking at the wrong fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
They should be looking at his center.
Right.
Nothing moves till this moves. Forget this. When you feel how to move this will be released by itself because your mind's not on it, it's on this. So this will release. But they're not doing that. Their mind sticks on here.